Meow, 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 meow.
I want to talk to you guys about this painting because this is old video footage that I found in my video archives that I've never published. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard me talk about editing videos, but it takes a lot of time to get these done, and it's easier to make videos than it is to edit them and put them together. So this one got lost in my archives and was never published, and I just thought it would be fun to go back and look at this painting and see how I executed this painting at least 10, maybe even 15 years ago. I need to go look it up. But so this is just one of the paintings that I worked on years ago. So I'm just watching the video footage and I'm gonna talk my way through some of the things that I do differently now and maybe some of the things that I do the same. I can see right now I'm painting the eyes and I'm using cerulean blue, and it doesn't look like I'm using any other blues. So that's a technique that has evolved with me, as I used to use just one flat color of blue. But now I will put in some blue and I will put in some ultramarine. I don't even use cerulean hardly ever on my palette anymore, and the reason why is, to me, it just feels a little chalky, and for eyes, I don't want my eyes to look chalky, so I don't use cerulean anymore. But in this painting I certainly did. It does look like I put some phthalo in there, and phthalo is really good, but I am scared of phthalo because it is so strong and it will easily overtake a painting. It's bright, it's beautiful, it spreads, it's like the life of the party kind of paint. But phthalo is really strong, and then it is impossible to scrub it off. It is a staining color. So I'm also afraid of phthalo. I use it a little, but I use it very slightly. Like an elegant lady uses minimal makeup. At least that's how it looks when she wears it. Anyway, I'm digressing, but I don't use phthalo a lot anymore. As you guys know from watching my videos, I use a lot of ultramarine blue. I use cobalt. I should use cobalt more than I do. It's lovely. And then I'll put a little touch of Winsor violet, or a little skosh of naphthol red, just to, in the shadows where I'm trying to get them darker. I'll use that just to add some interest. And eyes are full of different colors. Even if your eyes are just blue, they're full of different colors. So I notice in this painting I'm using very light blue, and the cat's eyes are quite light blue, so that's okay. But like especially around the black part, you know, the pupil, right around that area, a lot of time there is a little bit of darker blue to purple tones or hues. I get tones and hues messed up, but anyway, that's something that I've changed. Another thing that I've changed in painting eyes is when I'm painting that black pupil, which has, normally when you think about it, it has this hard edge. But if you look at a picture of anyone's eyes, cats, dogs, persons, the reflections make the blacks merge into the rest of the eye. So I found that really makes an eye very dynamic if you paint the nice tight little red round black or oval black circle of the iris, but then you go in and along parts of that, just parts, you don't want to lose the whole thing, you put a little bit of moist water to draw it out, to make it kind of bleed into the eye, and that really a lot of times adds some vitality and a dynamic element to the eye. So I'm talking a lot about eyes, and now the painting has gotten away from me. I'm looking back at what I'm doing. Right now it looks like I'm adding a lot of browns and burnt siennas, and I'm working wet and wet. And it looks like this paper may be different than my Arches cold press. And the edges are all really hard. Now within where you can see I got the paper wet, the colors are merging and everything together nicely, but the edges are a little hard everywhere. So that's something that I would change now. The way I paint now, I try to keep everything soft and only have a limited amount of hard edges, just enough for you to be able to tell, hey, this is a cat and this is where his face ends and this begins and all that. But I am getting the eyeliner nice and dark around the cat's eyes, and that's something that I still do. It's still something I find is extremely important. There's a reason why women wear black eyeliner. It's because it really pops our eyes out. So, well, not pops them out. Oh my gosh, I'd be like walking around with eyebrow. Not that. Of course, you know what I mean. As we artists say, it really pops. It really makes the painting all of a sudden come alive somehow, come forward. Really makes you look at that part of the painting. And putting eyeliner around the eyes really brings them forward. I hate to say that pops the eyes out. That just sounds wrong. But I keep digressing. I'm sorry. That's me though. I've got an ADHD mind, and that's why I'm an artist, because that is a creative mind. But I'm starting to put some darker greens in the background, and I see that the green that I put in the background is darker than the green in the real reference photo, and that's good. Good job, Rachel, because that will help pop the cat out more too and bring it forward in the composition. And so that's a really good thing. But I do hope that somewhere, I can't see the top of the cat right now. I can't see if I did some nice soft edges around the rump of the cat to kind of mesh the cat into the painting. But that's something that I would say is important, is to somehow blur the edges of the cat in the background somewhere, so you kind of attach the cat to the painting. If that makes sense, so it doesn't look like a cutout. You don't want your painting to look like a cutout. A cutout? A cat out? You don't want your cat out to be a cutout. So that is another important thing to do. And you can see in the reference photo that his rump is grayer and it's cooler in hue than the front of the cat. Especially where the light hits the cat, and you want to emphasize that, almost overemphasize that in your painting, especially so that it really helps the cat's face come forward. So I don't even remember that brush that I'm using there, but it does look like I used masking for the whiskers, which I still do that a lot. I try to get away from it as much as I can now though, and use more negative painting. In the last few paintings that I've done that way, they're just so much more fresh. I just like them so much more. This cat had a lot of orange, actual orange. It's like a calico type cat, and I would probably pop those colors out, make them more saturated too. But there goes some orange in. Hey, it's like I was talking to myself back in the past. But that's what made this cat really beautiful. And I was trying to keep his fur soft. And see that edge though, on our left side, the cat's right, see that white? See, that's not good, you guys, because it's too straight of a line, especially where you have a white line. And I remember some famous artist saying that. It's always stuck with me. Pay close attention to where white of the paper meets dark of your painting or different colors, because the eye is going to be drawn to that. So you want to make sure that edge is really varied. And in the case of this cat, that fur, it's a long-haired cat, is probably very soft. So you want to allow that edge to blur as much as you can, and also to have little wisps coming out or some element of interest. So you don't want that edge that you see over there in the lower left hand corner. Do you see what I'm talking about? And also in that lower left-hand corner, our left, that is not a place you want the eye to stay. So in a painting that I was doing these days, I would wet that whole lower left corner and then put some background color beneath the cat and kind of gray out that white edge down there, just a little bit, just to subtly keep your eye moving on up. Move your eyes on up, folks, just like I don't know, is this going to offend you? Like a beautiful woman in a nightclub, move the eyes up. That's a whole nother tangent. Keep the eyes moving up into the painting, and that means very rarely you're going to have your white edges down in the bottom corner. You might have a soft edge leading diagonally up into the painting somehow, but you want to keep that soft. So that's something I would suggest in this painting. And I'm not done yet, so maybe I can't remember what I did with this painting, and I didn't plan this video very much. I'm just kind of giving you off the cuff reactions. Okay, so here you can see I'm scrubbing off the masking, and what I'll have to do next, of course, is scrub all those hard edges that were created by the masking. I'm using some kneaded eraser to pick up the masking. It must have been stuck on there really well, and I think overall the cat looks really good. I like that soft green that really pops out the oranges and the browns in the cat, and that's probably why I decided to keep that background color. It was in the reference photo anyway, but that is a green is a great color because it is it's a color that complements orange. It makes it pop out, and I would say I would have grayed it down a little bit now, but definitely kept it green, but put some grays, greens, a little bit of purples, just tiny hints in that background to add some interest, but also to gray it down, because a gray green will pop out in orange even more than a green will. So that needs to be grayed down. That's what will make it a softer painting. But I do love, okay, this is the final picture. Final thoughts. The video of me painting is over. I do have extended versions of this video available that, if requested by my Patreon members, I will make it available if they request, hey, will you slow the video down here and explain what you're doing? I do that all the time. But just final thoughts, I would make the background a little bit more, have a few more drops of color in it, and also some purples to gray down that green. And I would have mixed in with that green some blues and some grayer hues to gray it down so the cat pops even more, because there's a lot of orange in the cat, and he was really beautiful. So I would want to do that. I think the background's too primary green to support the cat. These days, that's something that I would have done. So those are my main impressions. But overall, good job, Rachel, artist from 10 to 15 years ago. It is fun to see how my painting has evolved, and I hope that learning from some of the things that I would improve in my own painting from years ago has helped you improve your own painting. So like I said, I mentioned Patreon. If you would like to join and get some more tips and more access to me to ask me more direct questions or make requests for videos just for questions that you have, I love doing that, and it's not very expensive. You can join for as little as $2, and they make it really easy to leave anytime. So you can leave me, don't leave me, but you can. You can if you want to, I'll let you go. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I sure did. It was fun, and I love making videos when I really should be painting. It's a great way to procrastinate, you know? How do you guys procrastinate? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Please like this video, please subscribe, please comment. All those things help me build this channel, which I'm very much trying to do. I'm trying to reach more people so I can share my love of painting and life with you guys. So I hope you guys are having a good week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.